Recently, I've taken up the hobby of collecting vintage items, which has made me become a frequent customer at my local thrift store. Whenever I walk into the rundown building, I'm always greeted by the familiar face of an older woman with a name tag reading, Marianne. In between our conversation, I saw something interesting residing in the untouched glass case nuzzled in the corner of the store. A mirror with golden accents. It was absolutely stunning. I immediately found myself drawn to it. Even under the fluorescent lights, it made me appear flawless. The price tag underneath it read, "Free." Marianne came from behind me and explained it was left in front of the store a few nights ago. That day, I left the store with the mirror tucked underneath my arm. It just seemed like the perfect addition to my vintage collection. I leaned the mirror against my bedroom wall before sitting down on the couch to watch some TV. A few hours had passed, and I'd almost forgotten about the new golden-rimmed mirror. Just as I was about to play the next episode, my screen turned off, and the living room became engulfed in darkness. It didn't take long for me to realize my power went out. With the absence of the TV noises, my ears were flooded by the heavy rain outside of my window. I went upstairs to rest for the night, before I saw that unfamiliar golden-rimmed mirror leaned against the wall. It was so dark, I almost couldn't make out my own reflection. But there I was, my silhouette barely visible. I leaned close into the mirror and realized my reflection had no facial features. It was just a blank canvas. My hands flipped the light switch up, and my reflection suddenly appeared back to normal. That night, I put a sheet over the mirror. Something about that event was just unsettling to me. As I slept in my bed, an ear-piercing lightning strike from outside forced me awake. Not just from the loud impact in the blinding light, or from the silhouette that stood right outside my window. I screamed and covered my eyes, almost like it would protect me. When I spread my fingers out to get a better look of who was outside, the figure was gone. I convinced myself I was just imagining things from staring at the TV screen for too long. But as my eyes wandered across the room, they landed on the mirror. The cover was gone, with glass shards laying all over the floor. Someone had broken the mirror while I slept. I stood over the shattered glass. I knew I had to clean it, but all I could think about was how the heavy rain started to sound like footsteps on my roof. Another lightning bolt struck the ground and made my whole house shake. This time, it didn't illuminate my room. Something was blocking the light from coming in. I saw myself standing outside my window, no features adorning my face. It was identical to my reflection from earlier, even down to the clothes. Its hands reached down and pulled the unlocked window upwards. It began approaching me slowly. Even without a mouth, I could almost feel it teasing me with a terrifying smile. I screamed and closed my eyes, and the next thing I knew, it was silent. I touched around on the floor and felt a piece of glass impale my hand. I wanted to scream, but no noise came out. Even as another lightning bolt struck, the room stayed pitch black. I reached up to touch my eyes, yet felt nothing. My face was completely missing. Then, I sensed the presence of someone else in the room. They leaned in close to my ear, whispering words of wisdom.
You have to rip your skin open to reach your eyes and mouth again.
I clenched a glass shard from the floor in my fist, feeling the blood drip out of my palm. Next, I began gorging out my empty eye sockets until I could see light again. It felt disgusting and relieving at the same time. I used a glass to tear myself a new mouth. I hadn't even realized I was holding my breath until I felt air touch the back of my throat. That's when I saw who was in the room with me. It was myself. Exactly how I remembered looking in the thrift store earlier that day. It handed me the shattered mirror It was missing a few shards, but I could still see myself clearly. I was beautiful. Thank you for watching. When I was at the thrift store with my boyfriend, I saw a little mirror in the corner of the room, and for some reason I couldn't stop thinking about it. So this video was inspired by that. Also, thank you for 200k. Now that October is coming, I want to post a lot of videos in honor of Halloween. I've been feeling very inspired lately. So goodbye for now, but not forever.